So now we're going to go into arguably the most famous takedown, certainly no gi that there is, and that's the double leg takedown. Every takedown is a what?
A trip.
A trip. So what he's basically going to end up doing is just blocking both my legs and driving me down. Now there's very simple versions of that, obviously, but the way we're going to do it, we're going to add some detail to make it harder for him to escape and counter, harder for him to submit us. In wrestling, you can get away with a little bit of, I won't say incorrect technique, but techniques that would get you in a lot of trouble in jiu-jitsu, right? We're gonna try to correct that, as well as hopefully not end up in his guard too much. Okay, so let me have you step back. First off, you don't want to shoot from a distance, right? It's too easy for the person to see you coming to defend as well as to strike. Okay, so what I tell my guys is I want them to be able to comfortably put a hand on the person before they do a double leg. And ideally, you want to shoot on somebody when their legs are square. So for instance, if he was controlling inside my biceps and I had a stagger stance, he wants to pull on this arm to get me square before he tries to shoot. Because it's going to be hard if he can reach this leg but not reach this leg. Okay, in this situation, we would go for a single leg. But right now, we're here. Okay, so he's here. He's going to pick one leg to lead with. Notice the leg is in between my legs. Okay? There's 3 stages to this, and I don't know why, but after teaching this for 2 decades, everybody wants to skip 1 or 2 stages. Okay? First thing he wants to do is he drops his level. So I say, go down till you can see their belly button. So that's stage 1. I call it going down the elevator. Okay? Stage 2 is he's going to take his penetration step, and that foot wants to be at least where my feet are. Okay, now from there he's going to drive his knee to the ground. Right now we're not going to do the double leg, we're just going to do the penetration. You're going to push me back. So first check, he drops his level, he penetrates, and he just goes. Now without me, he drops his level, he penetrates, put the knee down. Now look, this back leg is going to, do it one more time, it's going to swim around so he can stand back up. Drop, penetrate, leg swims, and he comes up. Where I see people have trouble with this is a number of situations. Go ahead and stand. One, they just drop their knee on the ground. They may take a step, but they just go down like at a 45 degree. And I always say it's kind of like you're jumping out of a 4-story window instead of taking the elevator down and then walking out. Not only is that damaging to the knee, if we're in a fighting situation, he just drops his level like that, he's walking right into a punch, or if it's a grappling situation, it's easy for me to catch underhooks. If I'm here and he drops his level first and then penetrates, he's underneath all that. So it's very important that your first motion is down. So some guys will do a good job of dropping their level, but then they won't do the penetration step. They'll just drop their knee, and notice he's nowhere really close to me. Okay. Now, what he wants to do is he wants to reach behind my knees. And I don't like to grab like this. He's actually kind of, I was always taught like 2 swords. Okay, so he's also not reaching. I should rephrase that. He's bringing his body to me, and then his hands are going to catch behind my knees. Don't go reaching. Again, you don't want to open up that space. Now, what I said is where people get themselves in trouble is they tend to, I'm going to do this just standing, but they tend to bend over at the shoulder, and one, they only hit with the top of the shoulder. Right? One, this is going to be easy for him to sprawl on me, okay, or to break the hold. Can you pull away? Because I only have one small connection point. The other thing, obviously, is I'm walking into either a guillotine or a crossface here. Okay, so I will see that in wrestling because you don't really have to worry about guillotines. Okay, but in jiu-jitsu tournament or jiu-jitsu matches, what happens is people often learn a double leg as their first takedown, and then they come to class or they go to a tournament, they shoot a bad double leg, and then they get guillotined, and they go, well, now I'm just going to pull guard because every time I try to do a takedown, I get choked out. So what he wants to do is, let me get you on this side, is when he drops his level and he penetrates, his head and his body are upright. He's connected almost from his hips to the top of his head. His head is here. It's very hard for me. It's not on the outside of my body. It's right here, and he's looking, but he's looking to the outside. Don't look, turn your head to the inside. You want to look away from the down knee. So it's just a little bit off center. Then as he brings that leg up, just swing your right leg around. he's going to be able to drive off that leg, not so far forward, just off to the side. Okay, so he drops his level, he penetrates here. Now, he can drive me back, but the problem is if he drives me back, sometimes you get guys who got good base, or they're able to maybe start to sprawl, or you take the guy down and you end up in the guard. You end up in the guard, you end up in the guard. It is what it is. But let's try to actually finish the takedown. So as he swings his leg around, he's going to look towards me, in and up. He always had good head posture. He's going to start to look up. We call it cutting the corner. He's going to come up, driving off this leg. This hand is going to pull the leg out. The other one is going to chop like a sword inside, buckling this knee. Let's step this way just a little bit. So as he goes, he drops his level, he penetrates, he brings that leg around. Now he drives as he stands back up and takes me down. Okay? Very nice. So both legs are going this way because every takedown is a what? Sure. So what he wants to do is actually, if possible, pass my legs across the front of him. Again, you end up in guard, half guard, it is what it is. Okay? Let's try it this way once. Same leg entry, so you'll take me down that way. He drops his level, he penetrates, and then he's driving off that leg and here, okay? And the motion when he comes up is he's just gonna run. So without me, he drops, he steps, this leg, exactly right. Okay. One more time. This might be a situation where I throw a punch. He drops, and right here, okay? And let's do it once towards the camera. Yeah. There we go. And again, I really want you guys focusing on a few things, all three steps, right? Lower your level, penetration step, execution, making sure that you're not looking down. Were you strong? If you're looking at the ground, expect to end up face down on the ground. So every time I shoot, I'm never looking this way. Everything is head up, right? And then the head is not tucked around, looking down around his outside of his hip. And that is our double leg. This is a sport double leg, meaning obviously we're dropping our knee, which is not something we want to do in the street. We will show the self-defense version, but the mechanics are very similar.